How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today's quite an interesting one. I've got a friend here, Nick, that I recently come into contact with after making a video that was specifically on reviewing a website. So many of you may have seen that I reviewed recently a hiking website that was being sold on Motion Invest, and I'll actually let Nick explain the rest to you. So how did you get here, Nick? And what do you have to do with the hiking website?
Sure. Well, I'm actually the buyer of that hiking website, Skyline. It was called. I bought it through Motion Invest, as you mentioned. And in my first couple of weeks of owning the site, I was doing backlink analysis, just having a look at all the links that were coming into the site, when I stumbled across a scraper site that had scraped your video talking about this. Okay, there's a half-hour video analysing this site I just bought. That's really cool. So yeah, just stopped immediately what I was doing and watched it. And I'm like, awesome. And a lot of the things that you put out in that video, I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. And then there was also some other stuff like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Should have thought of that. And then, left you a comment. I was like, hey, man, cool video.
Ah, brilliant. All right. So just to actually get to know a little bit about you, because I'm also learning about you myself today. Do you have any previous experience in SEO and websites, or what led you to the point of actually making a purchase of a website?
Yeah, for sure. I guess a few things sort of came together for me at the right time. I don't have much experience. I've made really basic websites in the past for sort of small local businesses, but not very much at all. Was becoming interested in having my own website though, and I'd read a few books and listened to a few podcasts that had convinced me that buying was a pretty good idea. One of those books was called Buy Then Build by a guy called Walker Dybell. And basically the whole premise is along the lines of 90% of new businesses fail. If you can afford to buy an established business and then start building from there, you just bypass that whole thing, and you can go for it. And when you buy, you've got money coming in from day one, so it doesn't feel so bad spending money if you know that there's some coming back. Obviously, with a new business, you kind of feel like you're just throwing money in a hole and hoping that the tree grows one day, and maybe it will. And then I guess next thing that did it for me was the coronavirus. Has definitely given me a push. I got stood down from my normal job. I'm an expedition leader, and obviously in the current conditions, there's no expeditions happening. I was thinking pretty heavily that later this year, when my work naturally dies down anyway for the season, that I might buy or start a website. And I guess the virus just kind of accelerated that. I'm like, okay, well, I've got time right now. And this site came up, and I thought it actually seemed like a good fit. And I liked the way that Motion Invest did business as well. Just all kind of felt still pretty nervous making a bid and buying it, because it's certainly a significant amount of money for me at this stage in my life. That's a lot. I might have just done something really stupid, but I'd give it a try.
That's it. Brilliant. And just touching on Motion Invest, what was your experience like with them? So how did you find the actual process from point of actually, looking at the site as a potential purchase to the point of owning the site? What was that? Just take us through that process and how that went for you.
Before I bought the site and after have been a really intense sort of learning process. So I haven't been going to work as normal, and I've just been working 10 hours a day on basically just learning all about websites. So the first thing I did was a course by a guy named Jared Krause, an Australian guy. He's got an online community to buying online business. That's just what it's called. It's all there that he says normally takes 6 months, and I charged through it in about 3 days, and that was all about how to analyse a business to buy. And he'll actually help you have a look at it and go, oh yeah, these are my thoughts. And that was the first thing I did. Analyse the business. And I was looking at businesses on broker sites, on Motion Invest, and on Flipper. But I think Motion Invest was always sort of my favourite option, because I couldn't afford most of the broker sites. Flipper seemed to have garbage. So I thought, that seems pretty good. And I'd listened to a bunch of podcasts and stuff by Spencer Hawes, and I was like, these guys seem pretty legit, and they own the sites they sell. So I was, felt good doing business with them. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so like after actually acquiring the site, what was the first things that you kind of did? Because obviously you landed yourself in this position now where you own this website. I suppose you might have had some kind of plan of action, but what was the thought process, and what were the steps that you've actually taken from there?
For sure. It's changed a lot in the last few weeks. I think every few days my thoughts change. I think first of all I was like, I'm going to get in, I'm going to change everything, and it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
And I think I've calmed down a little from there. Like, well, actually, there's no rush. It's still making money, and I can think about it and do it right. So for at least the first week, I didn't really do anything. There was a lot of time spent checking all links for my code. There was a whole bunch of dead images, so I had to replace a bunch of image links, and there was a handful of problems to fix, which a lot of it I had to do manually, and that took a lot of time. And so since then, in the second week of, I think you mentioned in the video as well, I've put on a menu on the side and done a small redesign, like nothing too crazy, but just hopefully made it look a little bit better. Started getting some new pieces of content, only sort of 4 or 5 so far. And trying to come up with a plan going forward. I've got a few ideas flying around. So working on a couple of different ideas.
And I suppose, obviously everything you've mentioned is essentially going through like an audit of the site, to kind of identify the key areas of where you need to kind of improve. Yeah. What does that kind of look like for you? Just we have a lot of beginners here that would really be able to, benefit from just that thought process and steps that you might have taken.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did 3 formal, I suppose, courses, and then a lot of looking at videos and podcasts such as yours, and just reading articles. But the 3 courses were great. So Jared's Buying Online Business course was really good, and that was before I bought it, obviously. After that, I just did a course on Udemy. I can't remember the title of it, but I think if you look up affiliate websites in Udemy, you'll find it. It was pretty comprehensive, but it was quite general, and it's a couple of years old, but I still, for someone like myself who'd never run an affiliate site, it was still valuable. And then the next one I did was the Ahrefs Academy, and that was awesome. Like, that was so cool. So I'd recommend that to anyone. It's free. You have to pay for the software, but the Academy course is free, and it's so dense. I found myself pausing the video and rewinding it numerous times. Like, wow, what'd you say? That was like awesome things all in one. So that was amazing. I learned a lot through that process, and I did the 7-day trial for $7 of Ahrefs, and really spent 7 on the program. It taught me so much. It's like, this is the pages that are ranking. This is what you need to work on, and I would say definitely get involved with that. Like that was super valuable.
Brilliant. And what was it that actually made you choose affiliate marketing over all the other business models? Because obviously there's so many different business models, like drop shipping, social media marketing, which is a bit more hands-on, Amazon FBA. What was it that actually attracted you to affiliate marketing, and specifically doing it with websites and SEO?
For sure. And drop shipping, and I guess one of the concerns for me was, an ethical one in one sense. Not that there's anything unethical about FBA or dropshipping, but I just didn't want to be shipping like the crap from China around the world. I find too many businesses that appeal to me from that standpoint for a while. And then the other one was just how hands-on you need to be. What I really like about affiliate model is that I seem to be able to work a lot on it if I want to. If I've got time, like I do right now, I can work on my site super hard. But then, like, I'm an expedition lead, I need to go and be on a trip for a month. That's okay. There's not going to be any angry customers, or nothing's going to fall apart. So I really like that.
Brilliant. So it's really just having that kind of passive business model that's really attractive, even for me, I would say as well. Definitely.
I really like it. you can be active if you want to, as much as you want to, really, and then you can let it do its own thing.
All right, yeah. So, what was your actual what's your goal for the site? Are you trying to build a potential portfolio of websites, or are you just trying to hold this as just one investment that you're going to potentially exit from for a big cash lump sum down the road?
That sounds nice. I don't know at this stage. I'd like to just have a try and see where it goes. Like I would like to this one and then potentially exit and maybe start or buy other sites. I kind of got convinced in my buying online business courses to spend a lot more than I originally wanted to. I thought, oh yeah, buying a business sounds good. I'd like to just spend maybe a few $1,000s and get my feet wet and give it a try. Yeah. But when I started looking at businesses to buy in that price range, they were just absolute rubbish. And like, man, nothing here is worth buying. And so part of that buying online business courses I did was if you spend more, it's actually less risky because you can buy a properly established website. So yeah, I don't know exactly. A portfolio sounds good, or selling us for a huge exit sounds great too, but who knows? Like honestly, I'm not going in with any expectations. And also I kind of thought, well, it would suck to have it all blow up and the investment to fail, but I'm also prepared for that. I'm like, well, it won't be the end of the world. Obviously, you're going to work to make sure that doesn't happen. But yeah, at the moment, I just want to see where it goes and see if I'm any good at it, and see how it happens.
So you're just testing the waters essentially at the minute.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So I just before we wrap up, what I wanted to ask as well is, I don't know how aware of the recent update you are of Google's changes. So there was a core algorithm update during the month of May, from May 4th specifically, that just ended yesterday. So have you seen any significant fluctuations in your traffic or income throughout that period, or has it stayed consistent since your purchase?
It's been fairly consistent since the purchase, but admittedly, it's only been a few weeks. The traffic levels aren't the same as they were in May last year, according to the data, which I'm hoping is just a result of coronavirus. People in lockdown aren't buying hiking equipment. But no, I haven't seen any changes in May. Like, it's been pretty steady through this month. Yeah.
Brilliant. All right. And final question is, what would your number one kind of tip be to anyone who's potentially looking to make a purchase on a website? You know, would you recommend it? You mentioned earlier that, you know, you are essentially spending money that you're prepared to lose in that sense. So, you know, what would your kind of tips and recommendations, maybe one or many, that you would give to someone who's potentially looking at this kind of business avenue?
Yeah, for sure. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is just the motivation that you get when you've bought the site. It's like, well, if I, in my spare time, learn about affiliate marketing and websites, to learn as much as I have since the purchase, just in my spare time, without the motivation, would have taken me years. Like, it would have taken me a couple of years. But when you buy it, it's like, oh man, you're the owner right now. You need to know everything right now. And so I've been on a very intense sort of learning journey, which is awesome. Like, it's been really good, and happy to work that way. But yeah, I'd suggest for anyone who can't sit down and just suck that information, jump in the deep end and get something. And it's amazing how fast you'll find it when you need to know it. It's like, oh, okay, I need to know this now. So that's probably the first thing if anyone was thinking about starting from scratch compared to buying. So, well, there's money coming in. You can't. It feels okay to pay writers. It feels okay to pay for services because the website's making money. That feels tough when it's not making any money.
Of course.
I would just suggest that if anyone was thinking about potentially buying a site, it's a good motivator.
All right. So you would recommend Motion Invest as well, more importantly? Yeah,
for sure. And I mean, I can't put a blanket recommendation on anything they sell, but just their business model is great. They're really good to talk to, and they own all the sites that they sell. So their whole is if no one buys them, then they're stuck with them. I think some of the lower end sites tend to put on for really, really high prices and just see if anyone buys them. So definitely pay attention to the valuation when you're buying there. But I think compared to, especially for a new buyer like I was, compared to looking on or anything like that, I think it's a good choice.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thank you for coming on. Very quick golden nuggets that you dropped on us today. Many of you watching this, you know, I hope you had a few key takeaways that you can actually go out and apply to your own business strategies. And if you did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like on it. If they did want to get in contact with you or anything, I mean, I don't know how comfortable you are with that because you're not a person on social media like me. But if they did, then we'll have a chat after and I'll share those details below if Nick is happy to do so. All right. So otherwise, of course, guys, you can just leave a comment below and he'll probably get back to you in the comment section. All right, then. Well, thank you. And I'll see you, Nick.